Meghan Markle's getting paid to fly out in the sky-high price of luxury at this retreat in Australia. She's preparing to headline a luxury women's retreat.
This woman is desperate for money and is prepared to do pretty much anything to get it. I mean, this is the last resort of the D-list celebrity, who can't get on television anymore, so they start selling themselves. It's classic.
Well, it looks like Harry and Meghan are going to be going to Australia. They're going to be going to Australia, but there is a problem. They're not wanted in Australia by the tax-paying public. They are definitely getting some pushback.
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are once again proving why they are such a danger to the British royal family as the couple announced a tour of the Commonwealth of Australia.
Meghan Markle isn't representing the crown, she isn't conducting a royal tour, and she isn't using HRH. Besides all the other times that we've seen her use HRH, but fine. I hate these pro-Meghan pieces.
They've recruited Meghan to lead the event, which will focus on powerful conversations, relaxation, laughter, and unforgettable experiences.
Charles needs to take the ultimate step that he seems so reluctant to do, which is strip them of not only their titles, but places in the line of succession, because Harry and Meghan are doing this not because they have anything to offer the people of Australia. No.
Shockwaves around the world. Let's look at this this description of this new Meghan Markle event happening in Australia. It says her best life retreat with Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. It's happening Friday, April 17th.
This is the moment the illusion shattered, when a $3,000 photo, a desperate overseas trip, and a furious nation collided to expose what many are now calling the most uncomfortable truth about Meghan Markle yet. Let me tell you something that is happening right now that has the entire Commonwealth absolutely furious. Meghan Markle fresh off being dumped by Netflix. Talk Lady C, let's get into it. And just like that, the stage is set. Not quietly, not subtly, explosively. Because this isn't just another celebrity appearance. This is a pressure point, a breaking point, a moment where public patience snaps and the carefully curated image begins to unravel thread by thread. Fresh off a cooking show that ranked 1,217th on the platform, fresh off the most humiliating year of her public life, has just announced she is flying to Australia in April to headline a luxury girls weekend retreat. Pause there, let that sink in. A year painted as a downfall, followed immediately by a bold, almost audacious pivot, not retreating from the spotlight, but charging straight back into it, with a price tag that has people blinking twice, then a third time just to be sure they heard it right. But as best as I can tell, this girl's weekend is like no other. That's one way to put it, and she is charging women up to $3,000 to sit in the same room as her. Critics are raising eyebrows, though, over the price tag, questioning the motive behind the Duchess's latest venture. Are you sitting down for this? If you haven't already seen this story, I hope you are sitting down. Get ready. She has planned to headline a women's retreat in Australia for the podcast Her Best Life. But here's what she didn't count on. Australia fought back hard, and now the title stripping demands have officially landed on King Charles's desk. And this is another clear sign and indicator of why Charles needs to take the ultimate step that he seems so reluctant to do, which is strip them of not only their titles, but places in the line of succession. Stay with me, because every single piece of this story connects, and by the end of this video, you will understand exactly why this Australia trip could be the moment that finally ends the Sussex gravy train for good. That's where the tension spikes, because suddenly this isn't about a retreat anymore, it's about legitimacy, it's about titles, it's about a line that may have already been crossed and now everyone's noticing. Let's start at the beginning, because the details of this retreat are truly something else. Meghan is set to appear at Sydney's Intercontinental Hotel from April 17th to 19th, headlining a 3-day luxury women's event called Her Best Life. If you read the copy carefully, an event that promises a lot of word salad that sounds very Meghan Markle. Powerful conversations, relaxation, laughter, and unforgettable experiences, including an in-person conversation with Meghan. I don't know what that means, that is vague. The event is organized by an Australian podcast company called Besties, run by radio host Gemma O'Neill. And here is the first bombshell. Australia's America's most famous radio star, Jackie O Henderson, who co-owns the company, reportedly refused to be involved. There it is, the first crack. Not from critics, not from outsiders, from within. When the very face behind the brand chooses to step back, to stay behind the curtain, to avoid the spotlight, people start asking questions. Quiet ones at first, then louder ones. She was reportedly adamant about staying behind the scenes, pushing her business partner to take the spotlight instead. So the very woman who runs the company that organized this event didn't want to be publicly associated with it. That tells you everything. Everything. That word lingers because it suggests this isn't just caution, it's distance. Strategic distance. And then comes the number that turns curiosity into outrage. Now let's talk about the price tag, because this is where it gets almost comical. Early bird tickets start at $1,930, VIP tickets are $2,288, and for the premium package, the one where you get a group photo with Meghan and a seat in the first 2 rows, you're paying over $3,200. Over $3,000 for proximity, not access, not intimacy, just proximity. The kind you share in a crowded room, the kind that comes with a staged smile and a camera flash. The biggest moment of the weekend, a gala dinner, was billed as an in-person conversation with Markle. Not a private conversation, not a personal meeting, a group photo, like a school picture day, except you're paying $3,000 for it. And what exactly are you getting for that money? That question hangs in the air. What are you really buying? Inspiration? Status? Or something else entirely? Something harder to define but easier to feel? That's it. That's the pitch. Word salad dressed up in ocean views. Okay, so let's see what else does it say about her, because I'm trying to see how they sell this. Word salad dressed up in ocean views. A phrase that sticks because it hints at something deeper, a disconnect between presentation and substance. And then the critics step in, not gently, not diplomatically, but with sharp precision. Branding expert Doug Eldridge from Achilles PR didn't hold back. He said that for someone who talks constantly about building things, Meghan's record looks more like demolition. He pointed to her stalled Netflix projects, her canceled cooking show, and what he called a complete lack of continuity across everything she touches. One royal expert said the event offers a rare glimpse to see a more personal side of the Duchess. Demolition. That word lands heavy because it reframes everything. Every project, every pivot, every promise that didn't quite hold. And just when it feels like the story has peaked, it twists again. All right, I can't even take this seriously. And here is the kicker that your audience will absolutely love. It was later revealed that Meghan didn't get invited to this event. According to multiple reports, she reached out through her longtime fixer, Marcus Anderson, the Soho House insider who has been engineering her social climbing for years and essentially inserted herself into the event. They didn't come to her, she went to them. At $3,000 a ticket, going to Australia really makes this seem like another attempt at a cosplay royal tour in a country so closely connected to the monarchy. This should be very, very disturbing to those working in Buckingham Palace right now. Because back in 2020, when they announced Megxit, Harry and Meghan came out with basically just a list of demands. That revelation changes everything, because now the narrative flips. It's no longer about being sought after, it's about stepping in, positioning, engineering, carefully placing oneself back into relevance. And that's when the bigger picture begins to form. Not just a trip, not just an event, but a pattern, a strategy, a move that may have seemed clever until the reaction started rolling in. And what comes next? That's where it stops being controlled and starts becoming uncontrollable. And that reaction didn't trickle in quietly, it exploded. Now here is where the story explodes. The moment the Australia trip was announced, something remarkable happened. Ordinary Australians, not journalists, not royal commentators, launched a petition on change.org that has now gathered thousands of signatures. This is where the narrative slips out of elite control and lands directly in the hands of the public. No media spin, no palace buffering, just raw, unfiltered outrage building in real time. Because when everyday people mobilize this quickly, it's no longer gossip, it's a signal. And the language in that petition is absolutely clear. It states, Harry and Meghan are planning a private visit to Australia in April 2026. If they come as private individuals, Australian taxpayers must not be expected to fund security, logistics, or government coordination. That line hits like a hammer. Private individuals, not royals, not representatives, not symbols of the the crown, just private individuals asking for extraordinary treatment. And suddenly, the contradiction becomes impossible to ignore. This is depressing as hell. This is unbelievable. Their visit involves media appearances, business activities, and private events. Since stepping down from royal duties in 2020, they no longer represent the crown. And this really is a very, very big story and a red flag literally waving right in front of Charles's face. He just seems unable to recognize how past dealings with Andrew have resulted in Harry and Meghan and how that's just going to get worse. Any visit must be treated strictly as a private trip. Now, why does security matter so much? And now the pressure shifts. It's no longer just on Meghan. It's on the system, on the monarchy, on the decisions that were made and the ones that weren't. Because every unresolved issue has a way of resurfacing louder each time. Now, this argument really is very simple. One Australian commenter put it perfectly. $3,000 in Australia is what a family pays for a 4-week holiday in Bali, and Meghan wants it for a group photo. That comparison spreads like wildfire because it translates everything into something tangible, something personal. Suddenly, it's not just a price, it's a sacrifice, a trade-off, a question of value that feels off. And then the past comes back, not quietly, not gently, but like a memory people were waiting to revisit. And just when the spotlight is burning brightest on Meghan, it swings $50,000 for a lecture about psychological safety. And instantly, the contrast becomes impossible to ignore. After Meghan announced this girl's weekend, Harry booked a solo event. Separate appearances, separate narratives, separate optics. And suddenly, what once looked like a united front begins to feel fragmented. That question lingers because it cuts through everything, the branding, the messaging, the carefully crafted narratives, and lands directly on credibility. Now the timeline comes into focus. And when timelines align this perfectly, people start connecting dots, not randomly, but methodically. Doug Eldridge of Achilles PR told Fox that credibility hinges on sustained success. Their production company has 2 scripted projects that have been sitting in development hell since 2024. Meanwhile, there are reports of millions of dollars in unsold American Riviera orchard inventory, endless Instagram ads trying to move jam, honey, and flour. This is where the tone shifts from speculation to pattern recognition. Projects stalling, products sitting, momentum slowing. And suddenly, this $3,000 retreat doesn't look like ambition, it looks like necessity. The fall is not subtle. It is not gradual. It is vertical. And now we get to the part that has the palace on edge, because the Australia trip has reignited a conversation that King Charles has been desperately trying to avoid. Royal biographer Andrew Lowney recently told reporters that King Charles is now being pushed by public pressure and by the Sussex situation to accelerate sweeping reforms to the monarchy. Now the pressure reaches the highest level, because this isn't just about one couple anymore. It's about the structure itself, the rules, the boundaries, the lines that were supposed to be clear but now feel blurred. That is the key phrase. Because here is the fundamental problem that this Australia trip exposes. Meghan's being positioned as the headline attraction at this luxury retreat, while promotional materials highlight everything from her acting career to her work with Arcuel. And there it is, the core of the controversy. The thing people have been circling around this entire time without saying outright. And when April arrives, it won't just be another trip. It will be a test of public patience, a test of royal boundaries, and possibly the moment everything changes.